So let's start this out by creating our first custom class inside of Python. Now, open in front of you, I've got the Python shell and I've got just a new file. This is where we normally were creating our code that we wanted to be able to run for the CSV reader or writer, or for the Python Magic 8 Ball or whatever. We've been practicing writing our own Python code. Same type of file, no difference. We're just creating a module, but we're going to create a class within that module. Take a look. So first step when you create a new class is you got to define it by its name. But you know what? Even before that, we have to use a keyword to identify that new name as a class. So inside of my new document, I'm going to use the keyword class, and I'm going to give this new class a name. I'm going to call it course, colon. And that's really it. Right there, I have now created a new class called course. Now, it doesn't do anything. We haven't defined anything beyond just defining the name. But let's see what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to call it course. It's going to be a .py file. There we go. I've now saved it. Now I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to execute this module or run the module. And as I do this, it's then going to make that new class that I've created accessible to me inside of the Python shell. So I'm going to go ahead and run the module. Uh-oh. Unexpected EOF while parsing, into file while parsing. Well, what happened there? Well, I've created the class called course, but it doesn't do anything yet. We haven't defined anything. We haven't told it what to do. So don't worry about that. I'm going to put a keyword in here called pass. Essentially, I'm just saying, hey, I don't have anything yet. I want to implement this, but I don't have any additional functions or properties that I have defined yet. Okay? But I'm going to get access to the class called course. You ever do that in class? Teacher asks you a question, you're like, pass, move on to the next person. That's what we're essentially doing here. We're saying, hey, we got it. It's there, but pass for a moment. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to rerun it, F5. All right, and now you can see in my shell window that it restarted the interface for me, and I've now got the Python prompt there. So now I can create a new instance of my class called course. So I got a variable called C1, and I'm going to make it equal to course. I'm going to hit my enter key. So nothing happened because we're not doing anything yet. We've passed on that, but I could do this. Print type C1. I'm going to hit my enter key. And now I can see that C1 is a class and it's of type course. That's it. We've created our first, albeit a simple and really just plain class inside of Python. Now, we can see that it works. We can see that we can create instances of it. I can create another instance. I call this C2. This will also be a course. There it is. If I print that out, let's get the type for C2. And same thing. It's a class of type course. All right. So we've got our first little Python class created. But once again, it doesn't do anything. We're going to do that next. We're going to talk about creating functions and properties and so on. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff inside of this class called course. But get it set up first. Create the identifier, the name of the class. Make sure you get the pass keyword in there. Make sure it works. Try creating an instance of that class inside the shell and check its type. Make sure that you've got the correct type there. Then let's jump into the next video and let's take a look at some properties.